Greetings everyone, this is Jedi Shaman, and in this video I'm going to pose the question here, what's really happening on this planet? A lot of people are wondering about a lot of things going on in the world around them, whether it's the government, the media, healthcare, the environment, whatever topics might be of a concern to you. You may be questioning or challenging the existing power structure or authorities or belief systems, including things you yourself may have thought or believed throughout much of your life. And I want to say that questioning is a good thing. We don't want to get complacent, and we don't want to assume that everything that we've been told throughout our lives is actually true. Even the people who've been telling us things and presenting their belief systems to us, even if they think they're telling us something that's true and valid, it still might not be. They themselves might have had passed along to them flawed ideas or beliefs which they just blindly followed or accepted as true. So what is in a sense happening right now at this point of time in our civilization is that we're more and more interconnected. So through technology and communication and information, we all kind of connect more to the same field of awareness, or contribute more to the same field of collective awareness. So as one person or a few people or a small group start to become more conscious of things, that awareness starts to filter into the mass consciousness in a way more quickly or rapidly than it would have in past eras. So we're in a sense more of a global civilization. We're less isolated from one another, even though during the current coronavirus crisis, so to speak, we're being told to isolate ourselves more. On the consciousness level and the communication technology level, we're actually very much interconnected, and it's hard to suppress the dissemination of information or the expansion of awareness and discoveries of truths that have been kept hidden. And let's be honest, let's be real, let's not be in denial. There are many things that we've been deceived about throughout our lives. Sometimes some very big things, sometimes things that are on a kind of epic scale. So there are things about science and history, things about health, things about society that we've been led to believe that may turn out to be very much inaccurate. In some cases by accident, in some cases by intent, we've been told things that aren't true. So it's for our own best interest to be committed to seeking truth, to really researching things ourselves, not accepting anyone or anything as an ultimate authority or a quote-unquote reputable source of information. Everyone can make mistakes or share false information, no matter how much past history they have of being respected or having a reputation of being accurate. We also want to consider that information comes from varying sources for us to come to a conclusion about things. A lot of our information is second or third hand or beyond that. So we're just listening to someone else with their teaching, what was taught to them, and so on. We may be reading something in a book. We may be watching something on TV or looking at a video or article on the internet. So those are sources of information where we may not have any direct personal experience to confirm or validate what's being told to us. So we're assuming that the sources or the chain of information isn't tainted in some manner. Then going to the other side of things, we have our own personal experiences, and everyone tends to kind of generalize or project their own personal experiences onto their perception of the world around them. So if you have people in your family that treated you a certain way, you might expect that other people you encounter in your life will have similar behaviors or similar attitudes. And that may not be accurate. You may have had a very limited slice of experience that was very distorted or non-representative of the rest of the world around you. So we all come with these different prejudices and biases, different beliefs and assumptions about how things are in the world around us, and we need to be open to considering that there are many other people who have many different experiences than us, access to different information than us, to different knowledge than we've had access to. So we may think we know things, we may think that we're educated or informed about something, but in many cases we're truly not. We have a very limited understanding. We're very much lacking in knowledge. And this is something that I've encountered a lot on my own personal journey. At a certain point in my life, I started to question the different beliefs and assumptions and traditions that I was exposed to. And this led me to accumulate a vast amount of information on really a variety of topics, some of it having to do with health and medicine and holistic wellness, some of it having to do with paranormal phenomena and parapsychology, with spiritual and metaphysical phenomena, some of it having to do with sciences and scientific theories, some of it having to do with history and what we're told about the history of humanity and of our planet, things of that nature. And the more you look into any of these topics, really, the more you start to recognize that there's a lot of falsehoods that have been accepted as true or valid. So our society has really been held back in many ways by these misunderstandings and, in many cases, deliberate deceptions. So for those that are looking to expand your consciousness, I encourage you to not be afraid to question, to not be afraid to look at ideas and theories that contradict the mainstream consensus in society, and to use your own critical thinking to start to look at where you've been making some sort of assumption about something, an assumption that you haven't truly validated or proven to be true. If we look at any ideas and beliefs we have, this is really common. The foundation may start out with some particular assumption or assumptions which we just take for granted. We don't even think to question those assumptions. Yet if we start to really be open to looking at those assumptions, we may see that they don't have a solid foundation under them. And here's the problem. Once you start out with a flawed foundation, you'll start to build everything else on top of that foundation. So your whole structure is, in a sense, flawed if you don't start out with a solid, truly valid type of foundation. And many of us have entire belief systems that begin with some type of assumption or foundation that could actually be refuted or disproved if we were to really look at all the evidence all the information that pertains to that subject. So coming back to the question of what's really happening for many of us is that we're starting to let go of our attachments to whatever has anchored us to our old identity, our place in society, and so on. Once those things that have given us some sense of comfort and stability start to unravel or be torn or taken away from us, it can be a catalyst for this search, for this desire to understand more. So sometimes the dark night of the soul, or the major challenges or traumas in our life, are actually there as catalysts for some form of awakening or personal growth. And if we live in a reality that's very much based on deceptions and illusions, it's actually quite vital and important for things to start to shake us up, to help loosen the grip of that reality over us, to give us this opportunity to start to look beyond our comfort zone, to see some things that challenge what we used to think was true or important. So I would like to applaud each of you who have the courage to look beyond the confines of your old beliefs, to consider that it's okay to change your ideas or your mind about things. It's okay to acknowledge when you've been conned or deceived or mistaken, even if you have done something that in some way was hurtful to other people as a result of your flawed beliefs or ideas. It's okay to admit that. You don't have to hold on to feeling guilty or ashamed. You can just take that new awareness to propel you in a positive direction, where you seek to connect to higher consciousness, to be supportive of others who are also going through some type of personal transformation or awakening. So this is what I have to share for the moment. For those that are interested in holistic health and wellness, in spirituality and metaphysics, and other topics that may relate to your expansion of consciousness, I invite you to watch some more of my YouTube videos, and also to visit my website, which is phinsights.com. You can also find my Facebook profiles, both the personal profile and the professional profile. And with those I make a lot of posts about current events and comments on different articles and topics that might be relevant. So thank you for your time, for your presence, for your contribution to life and creation. I want to wish everyone a wonderful day. Namaste.